This is a test of our friendship.
Don't be scared.
Yes.
Just let it slide in.
Oh my god. Oh, what? What happened? What happened? What? No. We have an
Is that an outdoor kitchen?
That is an outdoor kitchen.
Hello.
Hi, chef. Why do they give me a camera and a microphone?
Too
Yeah,
funny.
because they don't know your name is Etner Mom Ace.
I might leave him on an island and eat his chicken, but that's survival. That's survival.
Yes,
But
that's survival. Uh-huh.
I'm Roogs. Welcome to my channel. This image! I am not, why?
Yeah, I see him eat all the
He
time.
eats like
What am I talking about?
All the time!
Don Darrow.
I'm a hot mess. Okay. This is a test of our friendship.
Don't be scared.
Yes.
Just let it slide in.
Oh my god. Oh, what? What happened? What happened? What? No. We have an
Is that an outdoor kitchen?
That is an outdoor kitchen.
Hello.
Hi, chef. Why do they give me a camera and a microphone?
too
Yeah,
funny.
because they don't know your name is Etner Mom Ace.
I might leave him on an island and eat his chicken, but that's survival. That's survival.
Yes,
But
that's survival. Uh-huh.
I'm Roogs. Welcome to my channel.
Can hear.
Image! I am not, why?
Yeah, I see him eat all the
He
time.
eats like
What am I talking about?
All the time!
Don Darrow.
I'm a hot mess. Okay. This is a test of our friendship.
Don't be scared.
Yes.
Just let it slide in.
Oh my god. Oh, what? What happened? What happened? What? No. We have an
Is that an outdoor kitchen?
That is an outdoor kitchen.
Hello.
Hi, chef. Why do they give me a camera and a microphone?
too
Yeah,
funny.
because they don't know your name is Etner Mom Ace.
I might leave him on an island and eat his chicken, but that's survival. That's survival.
Yes,
But
that's survival. Uh-huh.
Tell it now.
no, I'm not going
No
to tell
good?
you.
Tell
No,
it now. You're not gonna tell me.
absolutely not.
Oh
No.
my god.
No.
Thanks, Dondero. Oh wait, no, that's normally me, isn't it? That's fine. I'll just sit here and drink my coffee.
Hello, everyone.
Sweet, sweet. Are we live yet?
I think we're live. I don't know how
Are
our sound
we?
is. Hey, Great Big Bear.
Oh, they can hear you. I can hear you.
Are we
So,
doubled?
can we get a sound check? Can we get a sound check?
Are we
Greg?
okay? Are we doubled? I don't
We are
even
not
know.
okay. We have never
are not.
ever been okay.
We are not okay. That's fine.
But can you
Good.
hear us? That's the important part.
Yes, that is the important part.
Mm-hmm.
Sounds good. All
Yay.
right. Awesome. Hello
All right.
and welcome to Waking Up with Nana and PepPep. I am Aroogs from the internet.
I am
I can't
PepPep.
do it now. I can't even just
You
say
is
hi. I'm
stuck
Aroogs. It
from
is
the
stuck.
internet.
It is stuck. Oh my god.
It's like reading a fortune cookie and adding in bed.
Right.
It
Right.
just comes naturally. Yeah.
So what about you? Who are you? I'm not introducing you. Like, this is a mutual show.
What? You're not going to introduce me? Am I not your guest?
Oh my god, no, you're not my guest. Please, not today. I have not had enough coffee. Not today. Yay, yay. Hey,
Oh.
John.
Hey, John. So, I guess if my name's in the title of the show, I'm probably not a guest. Is that what you're saying?
Oh my god, can you go ahead and introduce yourself after like 45
Yes.
seconds?
I'm Sean, or PepPep. Apparently, PepPep is becoming my name. I've never had a nickname until now. Apparently, that is now my name.
Just
Great
like a
Big Bear
rude
did it the
step.
other day. He was like, "Is PepPep coming? Is PepPep joining tonight? Is he playing? Is he gaming tonight?" It's like, "Oh God."
Yay.
Thanks, Great Big Bear. Appreciate it.
You might want to thank Miko and John for that. Hello,
That's true.
everybody, and welcome to Waking Up with Nana and PepPep. This is where hi Stone H. This is where we discuss our journey through our religious trauma and
Sweet trauma.
our sweet, sweet religious trauma
Mhm.
and how it has affected our lives, and sort of we are basically questioning everything about how we were brought up.
How
So
we
that's
raised.
fine.
Yeah.
Yes.
Good stuff.
And our disclaimer, because we have to have one.
Gotta have one.
Yeah, don't
it out
at
there.
me.
Yeah.
So, we are not bashing any religion. We are not bashing or disrespecting anybody's religion or religious beliefs. We
Or faith.
respect all religions, all beliefs, all faiths. We, however, have experienced, this is our discussion about how we were raised in the Southern Baptist Church and how that has negatively impacted our lives now that we are no longer in the church, and just sort of that, how our experience and how that affected our lives and how we are working through it. And so, yeah, this is not us religion bashing. This is us working through our trauma.
Yep. Welcome to our trauma.
Welcome.
Yes, welcome.
Look, I'm tan. I got tan.
You are.
And burnt.
Oh my god.
I
You had some
but my
sun,
burn
didn't
is
you?
going away. Yay, Filipino. So-
Yeah, you're Filipino showing.
Oh, and I'm wearing my shirt from Harry Potter World that says it says
Nice.
dark mark on it. It has
Wow.
I thought it was appropriate. I thought it was
Yeah,
appropriate.
Yep, sounds about right.
Because today we are discussing authority and how we were raised to not challenge authority and not question, and to be a sheep.
To
be a
respect my
sheeple,
authority.
as you like to respect their authority.
We'll try to keep the number of Cartman references down, but I mean, if I'd had some aviators and a tricycle, you better believe I would have rode right in.
I believe you would. I honestly think
I would
you
have.
would.
Oh yeah, you would have seen me come through that door in a tricycle if I had one.
So, Sean, why don't you start us off, since I got to do the intro?
You always do this to me. I did not consent to starting us off.
Fine. Do you want?
All
I'll
right.
start off then, or do you want me to go
You
first?
started. Yeah, well, yeah. You always need to go first. That's important. It's important that you go first.
Gotcha.
That's how this works. Sheep is it sheeple? Yes. Yep. Sheeple. Oh.
The first time I heard that word, Sean called that to me when I was trying to tell him he needed an iPhone, but we're not even gonna get into that.
Yeah, that was a whole Apple versus Android conversation. That was that about wrecked us.
That did about wreck us.
Yeah. It did
Okay,
about,
so
yeah.
we are discussing challenging authority in the church, and specifically the Southern Baptist Church, because that was just a big no-no. You never challenged especially as a child, as a child growing up in the SBC. You never challenged authority. You never questioned it. You were never to question. You were never to challenge. You were supposed to do as you were told. And I don't know about Sean, but in my case, you were literally beaten into that mindset. You never questioned authority, which led to a lot of great mental and emotional hangups.
Let's see, Ruggs and I have somewhat different perspectives, as we often do in each of the topics, because as female, what she ran up against is different than a white male that I ran up against. So my authority, when I ever ran up into authority, it was the leaders of the church. And you're supposed to go to your leaders, but then you couldn't really question. Like, you could ask simple questions, but you couldn't like challenge that. You were not no, you didn't challenge that authority. And you were always the responses were if you were lucky, the response was just you should pray about that or you should look that up in the Bible. Or like just nonsense answers like that. You should read your devotional. Are you doing your devotional? Are you praying every day? Like I think I would have been happier if they had just if they
magic dust, pixie dust, and thoughts and prayers.
yes.
Fix
Yes,
everything.
thoughts and prayers. I think I would have respected them more if they had just gone, "This is the way."
I mean, not wrong.
Right. Right.
For
Yeah.
me, it was always because I was a female, it was a hierarchical thing. Like,
Mhm.
you had your pastors, you had your church elders / deacons, which was
Deacons, yep.
the next tier of leaders in the church. Then you had your parents, and
Yep.
then you had any male of the church.
Yep.
And
Funny how that worked.
and
Yeah.
then at the bottom of the rung was a nice half-breed female right here who had a mouth and a mind, and
Yeah.
apparently neither one of those worked out really well.
All of them strikes against you. Yeah, the fact that like pretty much every male was higher in leadership than any female. And that
Mhm.
just see, there was things like that that just didn't quite sit well with me. I didn't really understand it when I was younger. And as I grew up, I started to understand it. That's part of why I've left the church is because I see that and I go, no, that's not okay. Especially when we talked about gender roles. I'm like, no, that's just one of the things that just I'm not okay with that. I can't be okay with that. And those things started to stack up, uh, which led me to go, there's something wrong here. There's definitely something wrong. But growing,
So
Mhm.
I alluded to in the pre-recorded episode, which worked out really well. I was really excited about that. The fact that it actually
Right? If y'all haven't watched it, go back watch it. It's great.
um, is we were taught as children, and this started infancy. And there are some
Mhm.
evangelical churches that teach this, and I know that the SBC still teaches it. Is like even from infancy, you will obey your parents. It is not about
Mhm.
you eat when you eat, and you are quiet when you're supposed to be quiet, and you sit when you sit, and you do as you're told. And that
Yes.
was reinforced in the home, and that was reinforced in Sunday school,
Mhm.
because we were taught Satan was the ultimate bad guy, like
Yeah.
Lucifer. Not just Satan, but Satan is like almost this character of Lucifer. And Lucifer, for
Mhm.
those of you who don't know this story, Lucifer was one of God's top angels, and he questioned
Mhm.
God's authority. He questioned God's authority and God's
Mhm.
plan. And so with that, rose up and said, "No, I'm not accepting this." With a whole passel of other, like 50%, half the angels said, "You know what? We're with this guy." And they got cast out of heaven. And that was like the ultimate thing. You don't and got cast down to earth. Not hell, but earth. And it was one of those, your goal was always to get to, we talked about your goal is always to get to heaven. So there was this angel and all of these angels,
Mhm.
this archangel and all these angels who questioned authority and got cast out and got banished. And that's sort of the way that the church works now. Anytime you question authority, anytime you go against the grain, anytime you stand up for what you believe is right for any type of change, you
Mhm.
get ostracized and you get cast
Yes.
out. And that's like
Yes.
the ultimate bad thing. Like you don't want that. Like you
Yep.
don't want to be cast out, which is what it borderlines that I hate to say this, would borderlines the Southern Baptist Church as a cult.
Yep.
Because
It's
if you
brainwashing.
anytime they right.
Mhm. Yeah,
So
absolutely. So you're taught. Yeah, that's one of the stories you're taught is about Satan, Lucifer being cast out, the angels being cast out, right? And then you take it the next step, and who's the next person to question? Well, the next person to question is Eve, because because the serpent says, "Here's a fruit." God just doesn't want you to eat this because he's like that. So here's his fruit.
Actually, that's in the Bible. That is in the Bible. But remember,
Hmm.
technically, if you go back to the sources, Adam's first wife was Lilith. And Lilith was created exactly equal to Adam. It wasn't, oh, I'm taking the bone out of
Yeah.
his side. It wasn't made of man. She was made in her own right. And she had her own mind, and she had her, and then, we're taught, nope,
Well, yeah.
Lilith is, you want to,
People love the whole "woman was made for man" thing in the Bible. Oh yeah, that's yeah. Hmm. So Eve eats from the fruit. She questions God, eats from the fruit, and that apparently makes her evil because
and weak,
she's easily
weak.
weak. She's easily deceived and she's weak. Forget the fact that Adam was like, "Oh, well, here, let me try it too." No, he wasn't weak. He was deceived. Hey, Calvino. Um, so she questioned authority. What?
So we
So,
gave my daughter a toolkit for Christmas.
oh god.
Apparently, she's fixing something because there's banging over there. That's what. Okay,
Oh
sorry.
my
Go ahead.
gosh. So again, the next person. So then you have Eve, who questioned God, and her and Adam get thrown out of the Garden of Eden, and all the stuff that comes with that. So you're taught from an early age, don't question, don't challenge. But questioning and challenging is not only normal, but it's healthy.
And it's growth.
That doesn't.
That's how
It's
that's
growth.
how
Yeah.
people and
It's.
organizations and things grow. Is you question the
Hmm.
this is the way. They questioned
Yeah.
this is just the way, or this is just how it's
Yes.
done. Well, why? Why
We've always
can't
done it
we
that way.
improve? Why can't we
Yeah.
be better? And I
Sometimes.
know, like,
Mm,
beaten into me.
yeah.
Beaten into me. Did she take apart the house? Not yet, but I'm pretty sure if we let
It's
her,
probably
she
coming.
would. And yeah, like she would open up a light socket. That girl is into everything.
I bet if she takes something apart, she'll be good enough to have extra pieces left over when she puts it
My
back together.
favorite part is she plays. Speaking of gender roles, my favorite part is she'll play with her dollhouse and then get out her toolkit and want to fix it. And I'm like, you know
Oh,
what?
that's fantastic.
Oh,
Oh, that's
okay.
amazing.
So anyway, back on topic.
Hmm.
But as a female in the church, and that for even up until even to this day, I there are things where it's like I have people around me saying, well, why don't you just say this, or you need to go ask this, like whoever it is in authority. And I'm terrified, like
Hmm.
terrified, like I have it, like this deep anxiety of, okay, well, this is not working, or I have an idea to improve things, and it terrifies me. And I'm a highly intelligent person, and I know this will work, but I still have that for years of just being told that this is how I had to
Those
do it.
those lessons you learn as children stick with you. Hey,
Yeah.
Kevin, it's perfect. You're waking up and you're waking up with Nana and PepPep. I mean, it goes hand in hand. Welcome.
So it's one of those things where it was taught to us in the church and reinforced in the home.
Yes, that's one of the things that we find often happens is the church, home is modeled after the church. So that lesson, that gender role, that is reinforced. All those lessons are reinforced in the home. So you didn't question again. So the husband's the head of the household, makes the decisions. You don't question that. He's made his decision. It's done. He knows what's best for the family because Jesus knows what's best for the church. So of course the husband knows what's best for the family and is going to make the right decision. And you just got to let that happen. You just let it happen. And we know that's not healthy. That's not realistic. That we're not we're not Jesus. None of us are. So in whatever way you think of them. So
Again, I have very sacrilegious views on Jesus.
mhm.
I have
Yeah.
questions. I have questions.
Questions.
How
You
did
have
his teens work out? Let's talk about that. Like, and that's the
Right.
type of things I would get in trouble for a lot. Is I would question. Like, I would think, because it's just how my brain works. It's one of those. Okay, here's this story, but what's the reality of all of this? You
Yeah.
know, but in the fact that you can't, we are bred to, and I say bred, we are really bred to
Yeah.
believe this, is that it also it encourages unhealthy relationships to those in authority. It
Mhm.
it breeds unhealthy boundaries. I
Mhm.
know for the longest time, right, how Jesus was a teen and a young adult, right?
Yeah. For some reason, we don't want to have a lot of information about that period of
We
time.
don't want to talk about how half of his following were sinners and prostitutes, but we're not gonna. And he turned water into wine.
Mhm.
You could have drank the
That's
water,
that's a superpower. That's a pretty cool superpower. You gotta admit.
right? Can we have Jesus show up to our potluck so that way we don't have
Right?
to, I mean, commit some miracles.
Where's the Marvel or DC character who can do that one?
Right? I want that. I want that.
Oh my god, that would be yeah. Oh my tangent.
Now I'm thinking about alcohol and like, oh, well, it's past noon. We're good.
Yeah. And I think part of the reason that brainwashing occurs is because I totally just ignored whatever it was that you were saying. Oh my
Calvino
god.
said Jesus was the first Captain Sabo.
Oh my god.
I'm sorry, I have to
Wow.
appreciate how beautiful that statement was.
That's amazing. I mean, Mary Magdalene. Were we talking about Mary Magdalene? Like she was probably stacked or something. Like she probably had a. Yeah, we were talking about that the other day. She might have been. She might have been. He had a thing. He had a thing for her.
So anyway,
Anyway, questioning
unhealthy
authority.
boundaries.
Unhealthy boundaries. It also creates codependence. It creates it on both sides. Because as a man, you're responsible for the home or responsible for the wife and kids, whatever, and it creates this codependency that you are responsible for all of it, and so you become codependent. Where do you think some of my codependency came from?
Really?
So you're not. Yes, that's where some of it came from.
Huh.
Because I remember asking about that when I was in college. I remember thinking about being responsible for the well-being of the spouse. hmm If I'm in charge, well,
Yeah, if you're in charge, what?
well, if you're in charge, well, then what exactly what does that mean? What does it mean to be responsible for or to be the head of the home?
You know what cracks me up about that? Oh, I froze.
You
Of course I
did.
froze.
Don't freeze.
No.
Every substream, yeah, that would work.
Of course, I freeze. So why not?
Oh no! I mean, at least that's the face you froze on. There are worse faces to have frozen on. I believe
That
Miko
is
and Jay
true.
have screenshots. Oh god! So we have your audio video. All right.
Yeah, that's fine. So keep going. I'm gonna turn my camera back on.
Keep going. Yeah. So I agree.
Yeah,
So what?
yeah. Take charge. Take charge, big boy.
You want me to take charge? You me take
Take
charge?
charge, big boy.
All right. I'll
Yeah,
take charge.
yeah.
I'll be the one that
Be the
takes
man.
charge because I am
Be
the
the
man
man.
of the podcast. So it's
Here
only
we go.
natural that I. Oh, you're
I'm
back.
back.
Thank God.
But see, and that's interesting because we were made to believe Now, we were made, as a female, we were made to believe that that's what you guys wanted. That's why I was sort of shocked when you said that
Mhm.
just now. It's like we were taught that that was your ultimate desire, was to be the
Lord
leader, to
over.
be the household. Yeah, that's what as a female I was taught. Like I needed to be
Yeah.
submissive and not in the fun way. And
Yeah.
I needed to
At
be
least not enjoy it.
obedient.
Mhm.
Obedience is
Yes.
just
And
I refuse to have obedience in my wedding. Obey in my wedding vows. I refuse because I was told to obey. I was taught to obey my husband. I was taught to obey my parents. I was taught to obey. And the ultimate way for me to be a good, upstanding, faithful Christian Southern Baptist woman was that I was meant
Mhm.
to be meek, unquestioning, and obedient. And that it
Is
was your ultimate goal as a
Mhm.
man to be a leader and to be strong and to be a authoritarian, and that we were not to be like Eve. We were to
Mhm.
be faithful than that, more obedient than that, and that the whole reason that that we experience pain in childbirth is because we disobeyed, and the whole reason we were punished, and everything was a punishment for us.
Yep.
There was never a reward. So as long as we didn't question anything, we were going to be okay. And that's I had a problem with. I'm like, but I question everything. And I always
That's how
thought for
you
the
learn.
longest time something was wrong with me because
Mhm.
I questioned everything. I defied me, defiant. I defied everything. I didn't want to live that life. And I just thought that that was crazy. And for when I was deep in the throes of my religious, you know, following or whatever, my religious period, I thought I
Mhm.
was ashamed of that I questioned everything. Hi, Bates.
Hey,
So
babes.
that's just when you said that you had like what?
I didn't
Because
I
we
didn't
were
really
told
yeah.
opposite of that that's all you guys ever wanted was for us to be obedient and meek and mild, and you're telling me you're
That is
not?
yeah.
Is that what that
That is
right?
not there are some males that's absolutely what they want, but I was not one of them. Always kind of was looking for a partner and not someone to lord over. Um, and the expectation of men leading and taking charge and being a rock and being solid, and that creates its own problems, because then you end up with men who don't feel their emotions, who don't know how to express them, who expect themselves to be Superman. Yeah, we've had this conversation before. Um, right? Men that are supposed to be Superman. I mean, I spent 15 years expecting to be Superman, being expected to be Superman, and trying to be that, strong and unwavering and always there for my
But didn't
spouse.
your
And
ex-wife, because your ex-wife was also Pentecostal and very
Mhm.
evangelical, that's what she also expected of you? The
that
expectation
that's what I'm
that
saying. Yes, that's what I'm saying. That's where that came from. It came from me learning my side of it, and her learning the same thing on her side. She expected that of me, which reinforced what I had been taught. So it made it worse. Yeah, it was very unhealthy. And she even told me it wasn't just implied. It was explicitly stated. I want you to
yeah,
be
great big
like,
bear. I know.
I know we're allowed to have emotions. We're allowed to feel our feelings. Crazy, isn't that? Yeah, we don't have to be
So she
superheroes.
told
We
you
can be
that?
human.
She flat out
Yeah,
said no?
she didn't like when I was sick. she did not like when I was sick because then I wasn't strong enough to take care of her because she didn't like when I was weak or when I was not feeling well. Yeah. Oh yeah, she didn't like that. Hmm. Yeah, it was explicit.
I think the thing was is that what an emotion is that a new electric car?
Oh my god. Wow.
I love our community.
You're amazing,
I love
Carmina.
but like I don't know. That and I think that that's I think that the and you were taught that, oh my goodness, I hated when my ex was sick because usually the man flu is you right. You
Now,
right.
that's different. There's a difference between being sick and being an absolute whiny, "Oh my god, I'm dying," even though you just have a cold. There's being dramatic, and then there's being, I'm sick and I just need it's gonna take me some time to feel better." Yeah.
But l- that's insane. Like, but for me, it was always I never expected that. I never expected ultimate. I never wanted that. I think be also
Mhm.
because when I later in life, and I was like for those of you who don't know, I was engaged a couple of times
Mhm.
before I
Mhm.
got married, and I they were good Christian Southern Baptist boys, and I
I
say
feel like you need
boys.
air quotes. You really needed some air quotes right there.
Yeah. But
How many of
and
us have horror stories about good Christian significant others? I'm pretty sure all of us have a few horror stories about those. Yeah, mhm. Yeah. Mm.
Great Big Bear and Bates are now arguing over who's singing.
Oh.
But I say that because trigger warning. I mean trigger warning. I was assaulted by one of them. And I was not allowed to say no. I was because he was my
Mhm.
fiance and he like I was not allowed to say no. And then afterwards, it was just his right. You know, it was when first off, we weren't supposed to say anything because we weren't supposed to have sex before marriage.
Mhm.
Okay. And then
Yeah, that's a
on
whole
top,
nother topic. We're gonna have a whole episode about that one.
that's on that. But so we weren't supposed to have sex before marriage. I wasn't allowed to say no. And then who was I going to tell that was
Mhm.
going to believe me? Because
And not blame you.
he had it in his head that he I had to submit to him. I had to and that's the problem with this mindset. I am not saying don't
Mhm.
respect the chain of command because chain of commands are actually I believe in processes. I believe in chain of commands. I think that those are
Mhm.
very important to for the efficiency and running of any organization, whether it be large or small. I believe that people have a role and et cetera and so forth. I do, but then there is a difference between the chain of command and a hierarchy of authority. And whereas in you don't question that person above you. You are just in your
Mhm.
place and you are assigned to your place. A chain of
Know your role.
command, you can move up and down. Know your role and never question
Yep.
that. And
Yep.
because this never questioning authority, never question the hierarchy, never question the from a female perspective, never question the man, never do any of that has kept me in a lot of abusive situations. And there are a
Yeah.
lot of females out there in marriages and relation and girls in relationships
Yep.
because they're a good Christian boy and that's what is expected of them and they feel like they can't step outside of that. They're in
And the
abusive
person
homes.
yeah.
And
The person in authority knows best. You're taught that the person in authority, the person above you knows best, and that it's a that it's a it's negative. It's bad for you to question.
Mhm.
Yeah, when it really shouldn't be. I think a lot of that came from when you're growing up is they didn't. A lot of people they knew there were problems or they had questions of their own, and you questioning things highlights things that they don't know. And remember, it's when we grew up, the church was all about perfection. Families were all about perfection. Leaders, especially the leaders in the church, was all about perfection, which is
Mhm.
another episode that we have planned, right? Um,
Yes.
and so you questioning is like finding the kinks, finding the kinks. Was that their word? Finding
No, you
the
hid
gaps
your
in the
kinks.
armor.
No, you hid your kinks on you.
You hit your kinks. Finding the gaps in the armor.
There
You're
you go.
poking holes in the theories, right? And so
That armor
they
of
don't always have
God.
good the armor of God, yes. And they don't always have questions. They don't always have the answers. Or you reinforce theirs. Maybe and they didn't want to deal with that. So there's a whole lot of people not dealing with the things that they need to deal with.
That
Yeah.
and that great big bear lays the cognitive dissonance of the
Yes.
way we were raised.
Yes.
That therein lies where I know for me, I can't speak for Sean, but I know
Hmm.
for me, it was I know this guy's a shit.
Yep.
I know that this guy is lying to everybody and treating me like garbage,
Hmm.
but I have committed to this man even though we weren't married. And
Hmm.
now what am I supposed to do? People are fallible, but I can't question that authority because this is the man that is I wanted to be my husband. Thank God he's not, and he is living his life somewhere married to someone else, and that
Hmm.
is totally fine with me. Um, and I actually had another ex who we broke up because I questioned him. I refused to be supplicant to him, and I wanted to be a partner, and he didn't like that. He's like, "Why are you always like this? Why can't you just do as you're told?" I'm like,
Accept it.
"Because that's not who I am." I
Why
know.
can't someone wait? Someone looked at you and honestly, seriously said, "Why can't you do what you're told?" And they're still alive. Like they walked away from that encounter. Really?
I was
Wow.
too young to go to jail.
Oh, right. Okay. Yeah. That's. Hmm. Yeah. I don't recommend uh, posing that question to a Roogs. At least
See, you
not in
put
her
that,
physical
Sean, you
presence.
put that out there. And now everybody in the everybody in the Blues Girl Boys is going to say that. Thank you. Why do you
You're
open your
welcome.
mouth?
That's what I do. I just put these ideas out there. Pull a pin on the
But
grenade, hand
yes,
it to you.
and that's
Hmm.
what sort of makes ooh, oh, see, thanks, Sean.
You're welcome. They were thinking it. I just said it.
If you guys want to leave Con Carolinas with all of your limbs, go ahead.
I warned y'all. Do not. I'm not responsible for what she does to you.
I, but that's sort of where I find it very cult like in that you
Hmm.
weren't allowed to question your authority, the authority of the church, the authority the authority of your home, be not
Yes.
just your
Yes.
relationship or your marriage, but let's talk about our childhood. Let's travel back in time to
Hmm.
our childhood. Yeah, Calvino. Calvino's on my side. He's got me.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So let's talk about our childhood, Sean. How about you? Let's talk about your topic
God.
one.
There were a lot of expectations. You always went to church and you accepted what was told. You accepted what the people were leaders because they were leaders. They were upstanding members of the church, of the community. They've been around for a long time.
Hold on 1 second, Sean. Bates, I
hmm
will remind me to the end and I will do it. Okay. Promise.
Yeah. So the people who were in charge for a reason. There was often scripture quoted in order to, about God and leaders, God putting people in charge and in leadership positions. So by questioning your leaders, you are questioning God. By saying that I'm concerned about this, or I don't understand this, you might as well have been saying that directly to God, because you're saying it to one of the leaders. It's the same thing. So it was almost like equating to blasphemy. You didn't you didn't question that. You didn't say, you didn't express that something may be amiss, something may be off here. But a lot of times people knew it, and everyone accepted that cognitive dissonance. Everybody knew that.
What about your home? What about your home?
My
Let's
home.
like get away from the church.
Okay.
Let's yeah, we've talked about the church enough. I'm
Yeah.
specifically wanting to know about your home.
The My mom definitely saw my dad as the decision maker, and she was submissive to him. No matter how much she disagreed, she would submit to his decisions and his authority. And I think that's part of I didn't why I grew up thinking something is amiss here, because I would see it. I could see it on her face a lot of times, and I even confronted her about it sometimes. I like, why I could tell you feel really strongly about something. Why is this okay? Um, but it was all about being, wives submit to your husbands, and letting him make the final decision, and you didn't question that. You
How did that affect your views on relationships though, growing up that way?
I tended to date strong females, or at least ones that looked presented to be strong females.
No.
Perfect. What? Well, now see, this is a great talking point for the family now. Tinkerspell, you can have this conversation with them. You're welcome.
No.
Um,
First off, you dated strong females? Then why
right.
the Let's talk about your ex-wife.
Yeah.
There was
Yeah.
nothing about her
That
that presented strong. Or did
there
you just
was at
get
the time.
tired of dating the strong female?
Maybe that was it. I've always, or
Oh,
let me rephrase
okay.
it. There's always been a thing about strong females. Females that push back, that questioned, that didn't just go with the status quo. That that's something I've always, and that probably comes back to my childhood and seeing the dynamic between my parents, and the dynamic was very submissive. I didn't like it. Um, my older brother questioned.
No, his
She was
ex-wife was not well.
no, dominating. I don't know about that, if that's the right word. Um, it would be the right word.
We're gonna keep moving on. We're not gonna
Yeah,
get
we're gonna
stuck
keep
on
moving
that
on.
one.
Yeah,
Danger! Danger, Will Robinson! Danger! We're gonna back
yeah.
up that one.
Or maybe it was strong isn't the right word. Maybe it was opinionated, vocal.
She definitely had opinions. That I will give. She
Yes,
had
because I remember,
opinions.
like, the girl that I dated in high school, most in junior, senior of high school, some in college, and that I actually got engaged to, didn't marry, was an Italian. She was half, I think she was like half Italian, I believe.
You have a thing
Very
for half
opinionated.
breeds.
I guess I do. Yeah, very opinionated, very strong willed. Wasn't a healthy relationship, no, but it's definitely strong willed.
I just my my house, it was always my parents obey all the time. Now, I grew up, it was me and my sister, and then my two stepsisters, my
Hmm.
mother, my grandmother, and then my stepdad. And um the term for what she was isn't necessarily a yes,
Yes,
yeah,
yes,
irrelevant.
accurate.
Irrelevant.
Yeah, irrelevant. Exactly.
And I, well, first off, there's a lot of things. But I didn't recognize unhealthy parenting relationships. I didn't understand. I didn't wasn't able to recognize unhealthy relationships, because what I was when you are raised in an environment like that and you are told not to question, you are told that they are your parents and they raised you, they brought you into this world. That's who, like, you just accepted that. But they're your mother. That's how you, and they did the whole 10 commandments. Obey, honor thy mother and father, and that is just
Yep.
it. You honored them regardless,
Yep.
and they were the ultimate authority until you were passed off to your husband, and then he
Yep.
was the ultimate authority, and then it was your husband, then your parents. Like, it was, you
You were
never had
always under someone.
autonomy. Right.
Yeah.
I
Not in that
mean,
way.
we're not going to go back to my dark 20s. We're not going there, but
No.
that's um
Jack
but
20s.
so continuing on before I lose my train of
Uh-huh.
thought.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Keep going.
So you were never autonomous. You were never told to have your own opinions. You
Hmm.
deferred. You never made a major decisions for what was right for you. You always
Yeah.
made sure, and it was never one of those discussions, the respectful discussions, that you have. And you're like, okay, I'm going to talk with my parents and see what they think, or I'm going to talk with my
Yeah.
husband or spouse and see what they think, and have a discussion and then make a decision that's right for you. What you did was you deferred the decision. And
Hmm.
okay, well, I'll talk to my husband and I'll see what he thinks. And then whatever he thinks, I'll just go along with it. Or I'm going to talk with my parents and see what they think. And because, I'll just, whatever they think, I'll just go with, even though I don't, whatever. And it also bred like this whole respecting and obeying your parents actually kept me in a very toxic relationship with my family for a very long time. And I didn't, and when we go back to having boundaries and having healthy boundaries and unhealthy boundaries, and it wasn't until I finally said enough is enough. And then I realized how unhealthy that relationship was, and how I had just accepted the fact that this is my family, they are my parents. I just need to accept that this is who they are, and I'll just tolerate them until I can go back to my own life. And I realized that that's an unhealthy mindset that was
Hmm.
beaten into me since birth, and that until I was 37, so 37 years I am sitting here just believing this horse shit, that I had to just accept this about my family, and just they are my parents, and that these are just how it is, and how I felt like I didn't have the right to say no.
Hmm.
No, this is not acceptable. You will not treat me this way. I will not be that. And then when I set that boundary for myself, how much that clashed. And then I realized I I need I need to get out. You know,
Yeah.
and I, but I'm your mother. I'm your father. I don't give a shit who you are. That's not
You're
okay. And they still
you're
to
taught
this
that
day
family.
believe. Yes.
Mhm. You're taught that family is what's the word I'm looking for?
Sacred?
Fa Sacred. Your family is sacred. Your family is, oh, they're your family. Oh, it's your mother, it's your father. It's You're taught that these relationships are sacred, and that by questioning you are dishonoring, or you are being bad, evil, or how dare you. They're your insert relationship here. It didn't matter. It was all There was always. I'm like, No, just that's one thing that I don't know where I got to that point, but I'm of the mindset of, I don't care what relationship you are. If you're toxic, if it's unhealthy, it's unhealthy. And I've spent some time in therapy, and I think it's there's a I think where I came to it from is feeling unsafe in my own home because of the dynamic between my parents and with my older brother. And so I never developed those strong, but it's family. Now I have been on the receiving end of that guilt trip many times. Um, you should call your grandmother because she's your grandmother. You should do this because, but at some point I was like, that doesn't matter to me. My friends are my family. That's what my friends the relationships I have with my friends are much more important than the relationships I have with my family. But you're I can definitely see where that created problems for both you in your family and in your other relationships.
I think once I got out of the church, I think once I got out and that was I think still something that I struggle with every day. I got that with a lot of my uncles. I think we all get that to a certain extent. Just I know that a lot of our community is around our age. We got a lot of that family thing.
Yeah.
And it wasn't until I got out of the church and then I finally started and I actually set that boundary with my mother. I said, absolutely not. This is not acceptable. And
Hmm.
I need to go no contact with you. And this
Yeah.
was for my own mental health and well-being. And it really when I got to that point, it was very hard for me because I still for at least a good solid year still had that because for so long and our upbringing in that you obey your father and mother and you honor thy mother and father and that they are the supreme authority other than your spouse
Hmm.
that standing up to her was so hard and it's still
Yeah. It
difficult.
felt wrong.
It does. And it doesn't feel as wrong as it did. It's still one of
Hmm.
those when I see my friends have good relationships with their parents, like and I have a good relationship with my dad, but they divorced when I
Hmm.
was little. So they
Yeah.
went to totally my dad did not follow that line. So
Yeah.
no. We all seen him on Dondero streams. He yelled at Horpeen on the internet.
He
So we know
did,
that
and high fived over it. I've got video clips of it.
yes. And
Yeah.
she was very much raised me in that Southern Baptist mindset. Be
Hmm.
perfect.
Yeah.
Always and I never questioned that. I never
Yep.
questioned it, and I always felt and I love my sister. I love her. I love her.
Hmm.
She's a wonderful human. She is. She's got an amazing family and she's more put together than she honestly has any she's taken she's a lot stronger than me. Like
Yeah.
she really did but she was always the perfect one. And I
Hmm.
always felt because she was perfect and she never questioned because she was an introvert. So she never
Hmm.
questioned, she never defied, she never did any of those things.
You were the
I
defiant
was
one.
I was the defiant one. I was the
Yeah.
bad one. And
Yep.
I spent all of my life trying to seek that approval because I was raised in the church that I needed my parents' approval. And I needed their acceptance and I never questioned that until I did, until I thought, this is not okay.
Mhm.
And then I thought, my life can be different.
Yeah.
And that was hard. And so I am emphasizing that with the respect my authority, my
Torta.
authority.
Yeah.
And I'm emphasizing that with our community, and I'm emphasizing that with you, Sean, because you're newly out.
Mhm.
It never goes away. Especially I
Yeah.
know that you didn't have it as strict as I did,
Mhm.
but when you decide to take your own path, when you decide to question how you were raised, when you decide to be like Lucifer and say, nah, fam, I am not going to accept this divine authority over me. And whether that
Mhm.
divine authority is your parents or your spouse or your boyfriend or girlfriend or even a friend, or your family, when you decide that, no, I am going to make decisions for myself, and no, I'm going to question you and I'm going to hold you accountable. I'm going to hold you accountable with how you're treating me. It is freaking hard. And I'm going to tell you, you will feel good for about 30 seconds and it will wreck you. It will wreck you. Do you hear that?
More banging.
No, it was like my youngest screamed. It will wreck you. It wrecked me. And then you'll feel
Mhm.
better. And then it'll wreck you again until you consistently understand. And it's not easy. And I would like to say that your life gets better. It doesn't get easier.
Mm.
And
Yeah.
for somebody who was raised like me on a very strict, I literally got it beaten into me. Now, I'm not saying I got like beaten with like a hammer or whatever, but I certainly got on the receiving end of a wooden spoon more than I can count. Um, Validation is used from romantic theory about earning praise. How much effort I put into taking care of somebody. um, but and I'm not saying you have to do it. You will do it in your own time, and that's everybody's journey. But you will feel better and worse at the same time.
Mhm.
And that's the hardest part about it. And that's when you really defy the authority of how I was raised and that cult-like mindset of this is my family. This is the church. When I left the church, oh shit, I was going straight to hell. Like, holy God.
Yeah.
I, I'm an evil
Especially when a lot of
person.
your life is tied up in it.
Yeah. I lost
That's part of what
friends.
makes it. Yeah, that's part of what makes it so difficult. Is so much of your life is tied up in it.
So that is
Yeah.
my warning. As much as we joke about it, like expect my authority, and like
Yeah.
it's abuse. It's control and it's abuse. And I'm going to call it like it
Mhm.
is.
Yeah.
And it sets unhealthy boundaries
Mhm.
in all relationships and on family and relationship dynamics, be it friendships, work, work.
Yeah.
How often do you defy authority, Sean, in work? How often do you
Yeah.
question your bosses when something's going wrong?
um. Actually, I tend to do that. I tend to do that a lot. I got when I was a teacher, I got in trouble for arguing with the assistant superintendent one day. I was yeah. Here's the difference. Probably the reason I did it though. I didn't know who he was. I was arguing with one of the people in charge of credentials or of certifications, and this guy happened to wander by and overhear a conversation and asked a question. So I ex- told him how I felt about the situation that how I was put in, that I found myself in. And then I found out from my principal a few days later that I had gotten into an argument with the assistant superintendent.
Leave it to you. Well, of course you would.
Yeah, but see, I didn't know who he was at the time. If I'd known who he was, I probably would have kept my mouth shut. Yeah.
I It makes me
For
question. Oh, so for you, what?
I was thinking about this earlier, or while you're talking. My older brother was the defier. See, my older brother's 3 years. Hey, beardful me. My brother's 3 years older than I am.
Mm-hmm.
He was the defiant one. He was the questioner. He was. We were expected to be in church um, all the time until we moved out, until we left the house, went to college, whatever. He hit like 16, I think, and he pretty much defied the parents and went, "No, I'm done. I'm done. What are you gonna do? I'm done." Um, I was the middle child. If we have any of our audience are middle children, they will probably they'll understand. So um, I was growing up, saw him being the defiant one. I went the so I looked at the trouble he calls, and I was like, "Well, I'm not gonna be. I'm not gonna. I went the other direction. Well, I went the good one. Well, he's the defiant one, so I'm gonna be. I guess I'm the good one. I'm the one that follows the rules. I'm the one that does as I'm told and does what is expected of me because I'm the good child. I'm not the bad child. I'm the good child. So I yeah, so what is expected of me has permeated. That's what's permeated a lot of my life. The Going to college. That's part of why I think I ended up in the marriage that I did, is because that was just what was expected. And that some of that may come from other people, and some of that may just come from my expectations based upon how I grew up. Find a good Christian. Oh, the finding a good Christian girl, a good Christian significant other, that is beat into you. That is you are brainwashed so hard about that. Equally yoked. Oh my god. The equally yoked scripture, right? I'm sorry, trigger warning. I should have said something because a whole lot of people that grew up like that just went, "Holy crap."
Yeah, did you see me? I was like, oh,
Yes, I saw it all over your face. Yes.
But that's for our relationship episode.
Yeah, but what's expected. So for me, it was I didn't question authority because questioning authority meant you were the bad one, and
Yeah.
I wasn't the bad one. I was the good one. So I just did what I was told. Did what was expected of me.
I remember very distinctly being in Sunday school because you were always in
Hmm.
Sunday school,
Oh, always Sunday
or
school.
being in youth group when like
Oh
whatever, and
yes.
I would ask the questions. I would
Hmm.
ask questions, and they would get so exacerbated. Exacerbated.
Exacerbated. Yes.
I don't know how to say.
Exhibitionalism.
They would get so frustrated. How would I say
Yes.
that?
There you go.
There's Sean's favorite word, frustrated.
Frustrated. Oh, that yes, that's my
He
go-to.
doesn't say angry or mad. He's like,
It's
I'm just, or
frustrated.
irritated.
It's
He
just
says
frustrated.
frustrated. I'm just frustrated. I'm like,
I'm not
okay.
mad. I'm just disappointed. Anyway, go ahead.
And and like I said, I remember when I decided to leave the church, which was I had all these questions in the back of my mind, and that already set me off for years of I was the bad one. I was the bad
Yes.
one because I questioned everything. I had questions. I wanted answers.
You
I
didn't question.
wanted clarification. Like you want me to just accept this? That was the other thing. They just wanted you to
Yeah.
accept what they told you. Well,
Sometimes.
and that's why I
Hmm.
am the way I am today, Sean. That's why I am the way I am today. Whenever
What's your
Sean
favorite
tells
question?
me
What's your favorite question?
why,
What? What? Oh my god! The number of times I've heard a Roogs pull that one. Why? Uh, Why?
Well, why do you feel that way?
Why?
Why?
Yeah, why?
What?
Why?
Why? Why? Why do you think that way?
Oh my
Why?
god.
I want to know why. I always have. And I think it's also like,
Yes.
if you can't give me a why, then are you making a blanket statement off of something unfounded in whatever? If you can give me a why, and sometimes
Mhm.
I don't know why. Because I feel this way. It's still a reason why. I feel angry.
Right, Greg
It's
Bear?
still a reason. Why are you like this? Yeah, I ask that all the time. I don't know why they're like this,
Yeah.
but here I am anyway.
Yep. Why isn't always a challenge? Why sometimes it's just a question for clarification. You just want to understand.
But
But
why
people don't
was
always
always
take
a
it like that.
challenge? Yes.
It was a challenge. It could be seen as a challenge, and also if they didn't have a good answer, they got defensive. And when you're an adult talking to a child or young adult and they ask you why and you don't have a good answer, m- a lot of people are going to become defensive and then retaliate in the way that they know how.
But
And
I
that's what we
I
ran into.
remember in youth group
Mhm.
and I will probably tell this story a million times because it's the one that
Yep.
sticks out in my head a lot.
Yep.
That's when Mercy Me, I Can Only Imagine.
Oh yeah.
Do you that one was
Mercy
playing
me. Yes.
all over the radio, right? All over the radio.
Yes.
And I thought, well, thank God there is a song on secular radio that is getting
Uh-huh.
out there and spreading the word, and like that Mercy Me was out there and they're touching lives, and it's actually doing what people like. You want me to reach out into the masses, this group is doing that, and I thought it was great. I thought it was beautiful. Of course, like any other good
Yep.
Christian kid, I
Yep.
had it cranked up in my radio, on my
Oh,
car radio,
absolutely. Mercy me
like,
all the time.
and I remember sitting in, because we had a separate youth group service. Like they had children's service, they had youth service, and they had adult service. Um,
Yes.
and so I remember sitting in youth service and they said, Mercy Me is playing on secular radio. The song I Can Only Imagine. You all have heard the song I Can Only Imagine, and it is of the devil. And I
Oh, mine didn't do
literally, my
that,
hand
no.
shot up like this, and I went, hold on. So you're telling
Yeah.
me that because this song is playing on secular radio, because it was a service about separating ourselves. It was a
Uh-huh.
separation. It was,
In
and
the
looking
world,
back
but
on
not of the world.
right, in the world, not of the world. And it was like, now that I'm thinking about this sermon, the sermon was such a cult sermon of
Right?
of
Yes.
don't talk to anybody, be of your own
Yes.
kind. And I'm like, oh my God, like I'm looking back on it. But
Now
anyway,
that
so my hand shoots up and I go, wait,
Uh-huh.
so you're preaching to us that we need to go and be missionaries of God's word to people who in need.
Yes.
But this song is reaching people. And it's like, well, what song plays before it, and what song plays after it? It's a secular song. It's a song that is not Christian, that is not say so, of like it's tainted. So it's not. I'm like, but the people listening to the secular song and then hear that song and are touched by it.
Yeah.
Why is that a bad thing? And they were all like, no, like that's wrong. And I went, no, what you're saying is wrong. And I argued
How
with
dare
him,
you
and
say it.
like,
Yeah.
and he's like, you need to be quiet. I went,
Mm-hmm.
okay.
Mm-hmm.
I of course felt embarrassed and chastised in the
Yes.
middle of everything.
Yes.
And I never went back to church after that.
Yeah.
So you're telling me to preach out to these people who need to find God, but the only way they're going to find God is to accept Jesus in their heart and already be a Christian.
Yeah. Right.
And then you're going to chastise me for questioning your philosophies when you don't have a good answer, when what you're saying is incorrect. You know what?
Yeah.
Fuck you. And I left. I was like, I'm
yep. There was a lot of contradictions there. People. That's why it feels very cultish. There's a lot of commonalities between the way we're taught and the way the things that define the defining characteristics of a cult. We're not saying that Christianity is a cult. We're not saying that Southern Baptists are a cult. What we're saying is that how we were raised. I mean, we kind of are. You are. There are a lot of commonalities between Southern Baptist tenets of the faith, because there's a lot of what you dealt with, or a lot of what the experiences you're talking about did happen in my church. Some of them happened to me. Some of them happened to to other people. Like I saw some of what you're talking about to some of the females in my youth group and the way they were treated. But yeah, there's a lot of similarities between the two, uneasy similarities.
Okay. You know what? We're going to do this.
You can do it. Beard for me, yes, breaking the cycle. Yeah, it's really hard to do.
Are you or is someone you know involved in a high demand group or movement, aka a cult?
Oh my god.
You want to know what number 1 is?
What?
The group is focused on a living leader to whom members seem to display excessively zealous, unquestioning commitment.
There are unquestioning commitment to, especially pastors. That is very common in the Southern Baptist, is just this obsession with leaders, with the pastor. I mean, especially you look at
Another
like mega
one,
churches.
another one, I'm not going to read this whole list, but another one on here is questioning, doubt, and dissent are discouraged or even punished.
Which is what we're talking about. Yep.
Exactly.
You don't question it. You just accept
The
it.
leadership dictates sometimes in great detail how members should think, act, and feel.
Mm-hmm.
For example, members must get permission from leaders to date, change jobs, get married. Leaders may prescribe what type of clothes to wear, where to live, how to discipline children, and so forth.
Yep. No, there was a lot of that I didn't see in my church, as far as like living, where do you live, and jobs that you have. But as far as like the clothing you wore, that was a very hot topic in my youth group, especially around bathing suits.
I mean, there's a lot more that we're going to go into later, but I mean, those are like, there's several in there. It's like the group's leader is not accountable to any authorities.
Oh, yeah.
Have either of you been approached about being saved from someone since you've left the church? You mean to resave us?
Someone that knows our experiences, or just someone random?
I know Sean's mom tries to get him into church all the time.
Oh, every time I see my mother, it is, so are you going back to church yet? Have you come back to church? When are you going to go back to church? It was always about me back.
How are you going to find a good Christian girl if you don't go back to church?
And whenever she brings up the whole good Christian girl, I remind her of what happened 15 years ago when I thought I had found a good Christian girl and I was trying to be a good Christian boy. And we see how well that turned out for me.
I get approached on the street by strangers with literature. We get the Jehovah's Witness knocking on my door, my eternal soul. I get that a lot, but usually it's not so much in my personal life, because random. I do get that in random. I try to be very respectful of people's faith, and so I don't talk about my religious views. I just try to keep it very neutral, especially with the people around me. I mean, those who are really close to me know that I do not practice Christianity anymore. They know that I refuse to talk about it, in that, because I want to be respectful. And that's why we try very hard to be respectful in this podcast, is because a lot of our family members, a lot of our friends do are still active in their church and active,
Hmm.
so no need to be mean to them. No, no, I am never mean
Yeah.
to them. Um, and because I respect everybody's faith. I feel like, and
Yeah.
I said this before, I feel faith is beautiful. I feel like you believing in something is absolutely beautiful. I don't believe that faith should control you. And that's the
Yeah.
difference. That's sort of what we're talking about
Yes.
with way we were raised in the SBC, is that it was a controlling issue. And that it wasn't about faith. Nothing about our raising was about faith and the beauty of
Yes.
faith.
It was all about control. Someone controlling what you do and brainwashing you to believe that you must adhere to a certain thing. And any deviation from that. It was all about adherence to a thing, and you were not allowed to deviate.
Yes.
Deviation was bad.
So
Yeah. So,
yeah.
I've never been fond of that cold calling. That's pretty much what it is. It's cold calling. It's the random pamphlets. It's the, can I talk to you about Jesus? It's the what I call brickyard preachers, people that stand on a pedestal literally and just yell about fire and damnation. I'm like, I've never, even when I was completely active in the church, fully involved, even then I was like, this is, do you really think that this is helping? This is working?
But that's a topic for another day.
Yeah.
So in
Uh-huh.
conclusion,
We're gonna start our southern goodbye. It sliding out the door. Grab the door handle. Get the casserole
bye
dish. Bye,
Mima.
bye, Mima. Exactly. Oh my God.
Okay. All right. Well, yeah, sexy invite. Thank you, C Bates. That's why I need you to remind me. I will do that once we wrap things up. I use 500 words. I got you, girl. I got you.
Uh-huh.
So so really this whole thing is that we were raised to never question authority. And that I know personally put me into some very bad situations. And I know that some of these, if I've in our community and those that are watching maybe for the first time, I, I get you. And maybe you're in that situation right now and you feel trapped or you feel like a bad person or whatnot. You're not. Just because you're questioning what somebody is dictating to you does not make you a bad person. It makes you a person, a human being with your own thoughts and feelings. And that is completely okay. And if you need somebody to talk to about it, Sean and I are here. We
Yep.
will be glad to, communicate with you. If you don't, if you just want to show up and watch, we are all about that too.
Yep.
So, you do you, boo boo. We are not going to tell you exactly anything what to do.
You can think for yourself,
Whew.
right?
Um, so yes, and it's to actually Sean.
Yes.
Sean has really stepped outside when he actually had a conversation with his mother about him not going back to church, and that was a big step for him. And I'm really
Ooh,
proud of you
that
for
was
that.
tough. That was
Yeah,
very tough.
because yeah, think for yourself. Yeah. So, but
Yeah,
I was very proud
what
of you for that one.
hmm that was not an easy conversation for me to have with my mom, because she asked, when you going back to church, and I finally told her one time, yes, I don't think it's gonna happen. That's not gonna happen, Mom. Whoo! Because remember, I'm the good kid. I'm the of my three brothers. I mean, of three boys, three men. I'm the only one that's gone to church for more than just my childhood. So I'm the good kid. So for the good kid to tell mom, yeah, I'm not doing that anymore. Whoo! That didn't go over well.
So, it's okay. And if you're still scared and you don't want to, that's fine too. And you just need somebody who
Thanks,
understands
Stone Mage.
where you have come from. That is why Nerd Mom Ace, and that's why Sean and I do this, is because we want to
Yep.
build a community that you feel safe in. And
Yes.
that we understand, and it can be, you don't have to be Southern Baptist, you can be of any type of religious trauma where you feel that maybe something we are more than welcome. Contact us. I'm on social media. Nerd Mom Ace is pretty much everywhere. So find us somewhere. And we will be glad to talk with you. If there's something that you want to talk about,
Yeah,
we'd be glad to do that too.
absolutely.
I know that this one
Mhm.
sort of went on a little bit of a tangent, but
It's all
we're
connected.
not perfect. We're not
We're not.
perfect.
No, we do not have we do not have a 5-point outline.
We don't. We
I
are
mean,
not perfect.
nope.
So, and with that, next week we're actually talking about perfectionism and the shiny
Yes.
veneer
Woo!
that was
Oh my
forced upon
gosh.
us through our
Being
entire
perfect
life.
and being a perfectionist. Oh
I know.
my. Right, I know. It's hard to believe that, isn't it?
Thanks, guys.
Oh, thanks, guys. Thanks, Beard Friendly. We love you guys. We love our audience. You guys are amazing. Thank you for joining us.
Okay, Bates, ask for it. I gotta give it to her.
Oh, give it to her. Give it to Bates.
Give it to. I'm gonna give it to you. I'm gonna give it to you, Bates. Bates. Yeah. Sunday when I get in for Con Carolinas, it's going to be the best potluck you've ever seen. All the covered dishes and sweet tea and shenanigans you have ever seen.
We're going to need a clip of that, Arugs. If you can make that happen, please, we'd appreciate it.
So next week we are talking about perfectionism and how let's talk about the mental and emotional trauma that trying to be perfect has been beaten into us again.
Ooh.
And how that is still to this day, as of like
it never goes away.
an hour ago. We still strive and are worried about being imperfect. So that's next week. About your Harry Potter trip and how it was later in the week. Yes, I will talk probably Don Darrowing 101 next week. Oh, I guess I should do that too. So
yeah, what are we doing this week?
What are we doing this week? So tonight, Blue Skirt Boy Gaming with all of our Blue Skirt Boys with Great Big Bear. Are you playing tonight? I don't know if you're playing, but we tune into one of our Blue Skirt Boy channels. Miko, All Hope, Jay, Nev, Don Darrow, and all tune in. They're going to be gaming tonight. That is at 8:30 Eastern, 7:30 Central, like normal. Tomorrow it is Auntie and Unc on Miko's channel, and that is at 7:30 Eastern, 6:30 Central. Then it is Don Darrowing 101. I am back. I am ready to talk about Orlando and some shenanigans with Don Darrow. Yes. That is at 8:30 Eastern, 7:30 Central. And then after that, a Roogs happy hour right here on Nerd Mom Ace. We are going to share some drinks, talk about whatever, do what we do.
Whatever it is we talk about.
Tuesday, more Blue Skirt Boy Gaming. Wednesday, Weebs, and Interweebs at 8:30 Eastern, 7:30 Central. Thursday, some Blue Skirt Boy Gaming. Friday is now our new stream, Dinks with Kinks. That is at 10 p.m. Eastern, 9 p.m. Central. So come talk kink with us.
That was great. Last episode was really good.
Yes, come talk kink with us. And then we'll be back here at CCTV or Saturday Shenanigans with Mikos is at 3:30 Eastern. And then CCTV, and they're trying to do a LARPing episode, live action role play. So that's on
really
Don Darrow, Twitch TV / the Don Darrow, and that is CCTV. That is 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 o'clock Central. So it should be good. I think Bronner and Ray are doing a great job. They're
fantastic. If you guys haven't watched CCTV, check it out. Some really good episodes.
I don't have a promotion button like John does, but if you want to get your Con Carolinas tickets, they are on sale now. And go to the website and you can put in the discount code CCTV, and that will get you 25% off your tickets. So
I thought it was CCTV 22.
I don't know. One of those. Or you can put in Moon Knight, or you can put in the Don Darrow or D101.
Moon Knight is one. I'm putting him in the chat.
What you planning on drinking tomorrow? I don't know.
Morbius?
Well,
Mobius.
I don't know. I'll see. Yes, those are all will get you. So yeah, tomorrow
Discounts on your
probably
con tickets.
liquor. I usually drink liquor. So,
The good stuff.
the good stuff. I maybe something butterscotch. You want to try? Okay.
You do that. We tried out the PepPep. You didn't do
Tried-
PepPep. You
tried
didn't
the
taste the
PepPep.
PepPep. You didn't taste the PepPep. I tasted the
gotta-
PepPep.
I gotta find something that's the Nana.
Ooh, you do. What does Nana taste like? What does the Nana taste like? Wait, hold on. I just not. Where did you go? No, moment. Where did the Roogs go?
I got a bottle of rum and I'm trying local brews. Awesome.
Ooh,
So,
nice.
I don't know what Nana
Drink
tastes. Something peachy.
PepPep is a tall drink of butterscotch.
But thanks for joining us on Waking Up with Nana and PepPep. And we will see you guys later. See, come for Dondaroing 101 tomorrow.
Absolutely.
TwitchTV./the Dondero and then
happy hour.
Arug's happy hour right here.
Same bat time, same bat channel.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.